Today we have with us the Japanese ambassador in Sri Lanka, Mitsukoshi Hideki with us, who will be talking about the Japanese language programs and what they are planning to do in Sri Lanka and the economic outlook and all the rest of it. We are from the Daily News, Sunday Observer, and the Lake House Digital team. We're just here to check on some of your new developments and how do you review Sri Lanka after the economic crisis. So today, how do you see Sri Lanka?
Well, I think since last year, the economy of Sri Lanka is stabilizing. The situation is getting better. Tourists are coming back. Inflation is now stabilized. And most importantly, the debt restructuring negotiation is going well. And I would like to congratulate Sri Lankan government and people for successfully managing this economic crisis.
So this situation, how is it for Japanese investors?
Well, it's still early, but I think there are good signs for things to improve. So probably next year, I think things will get even better. And I hope Japanese investors and businessmen will take more interest in Sri Lanka. And in fact, compared with last year, there are a lot of Japanese businessmen coming to Sri Lanka to see the situation. It's still too early for them to make decisions, but this is a sign of interest from the Japanese business side.
Yeah. Any projects ongoing, and what are the coming up projects with Japan and Sri Lanka together?
So there are ongoing projects like in the Bandaranaike International Airport project or digital television broadcasting project, and they are suspended because of the default of the Sri Lanka. But when that restructuring is negotiation is completed, we can work on the resumption of these suspended projects.
So 28th of April, Sri Lanka and Japan will be celebrating their 71 years of diplomatic relations. How do you review the past and how do you see the future with the government?
Yes, so we have a very strong relationship since our diplomatic relationship has started. Well, we owe to Sri Lanka very much at the time of Japan's independence from the occupation at the San Francisco Peace Conference, where former President Jayawardena has made a very strong case for early independence of Japan without conditions. And we appreciate it very much. And at the time of economic crisis, in return, Japan has supported Sri Lanka very much, both in terms of humanitarian assistance and supporting Sri Lanka's negotiation for debt restructuring.
So with Japan facing the aging population, and how is the SSW project helping Japan, and how will it have a positive impact on Sri Lanka?
Yeah. Well, we have a very serious shortage of workforce in Japan because of the aging population. That is true. So we are encouraging foreign skilled workers to work in Japan, especially fields like caregiving and food service and agriculture. So we have in Sri Lanka, we have started tests for those specified skilled workers program. And in Sri Lanka, we have started with 3 sectors: food service, caregiving, and agriculture. And recently, we added one more sector, which is construction. And from March next year, we will add another sector, which is airport ground handling. And we hope that more Sri Lankan people will come to Japan to help Japan.
Right. So, what are the opportunities that Sri Lanka will have by participating in the Expo 2025?
I think it's an excellent opportunity for Sri Lanka to show Sri Lanka's recovery from the economic crisis and show to the world its attractiveness of its both products and tourism. So we hope that Sri Lanka will make best use of this opportunity.
Right. With the economic crisis Sri Lanka had, what perspective does the Japanese tourists have for Sri Lanka, and how strong is the Buddhist cultural sector?
Well, last year, because of the financial crisis and also political instability, not many tourists came from Japan. But I think this year, the tourism from Japan is picking up, and I hope that it will further expand next year. Among Japanese people, there are people who are very interested in cultural sites in Sri Lanka, which are mostly Buddhism, like places like Kandy, Singigiriya, Anuradhapura. I think they are very attractive tourist spots for Japanese people.
With the ongoing crises, there are 2 wars happening. So, what are the travel trends of the Japanese people? Do they prefer Asia, or do they like Europe or America? And what are the average stays?
Well, it really depends on the taste of the individual. But at this point, because of the depreciation of Japanese yen, it's very expensive for Japanese people to travel to USA or Europe. And I think Sri Lanka is a country which is quite economic, yes, and valuable place.
Any new airlines or any air connectivity strengthening being happening between the 2 countries?
Well, I know that the flights of Sri Lanka Airways between Japan and Sri Lanka increased. I think it has been 3 flights a week. Now it's 4. So, and I hear that almost all the flights are full. So there are lots of travelers between Japan and Sri Lanka now.
In Japan, after the World War, like they started manufacturing and creating new brands. And Japan today is synonymous with quality exports. What is the message that you can give Sri Lankan industries?
There are some Japanese management systems which have been very successful, like Kaizen or 5S. And some of these management systems have been introduced to Sri Lanka as well. For example, I saw a garment plant which is working with a Japanese 5S system. I think there are lots of things to learn in the Japanese management system for quality control. Yeah.
So, for the business segment, what are the opportunities that are available for Sri Lankans to move into the Japanese segment, like the ICT? What are the opportunities? And for exports, like whether it is tea or whether it is moving to the Ayurveda products or herbal products?
I think tea and Ayurveda are very famous in Japan. So that is of course, good export products. But I think, for example, I think there are opportunity for Sri Lankan, IT workers to do some work in Japan. I think there is a lot of shortage of IT workers in Japan. Now there is a university in Sri Lanka called Lanka Japan BizTech Institute, which with Japanese investment teaching IT skills and Japanese language. So I think, for example, Sri Lankan people with IT skills who have studied in such university can have opportunities for business in Japan.
So with the current country moving towards the 2030, where is Japan going to be in 2030?
Difficult question. Well, I think this Japanese aging population is a big problem. I think we have to put a solution for that. I don't know. And also we have to advance our digitalization and more effective ways of businesses, etc.
So the exports and all are progressing, right?
Japanese exports?
Yes.
Well, yes, but not as like in the 1960s or 1970s. It's a more stable situation. I wanted to talk about a Japanese language program in the Rupa Wahini. So, with this interest to specified skilled workers program in Japan, there is a growing number of learners of Japanese language in Sri Lanka. So we would like to, make Japanese language studies more available to Sri Lankan people. So now we are discussing with Rupa Wahini Corporation about making a Japanese language program, which will deal with Japanese language, especially for working in Japan. So we hope that will be useful for those who are interested in Japanese language and working in Japan.
Right. Going back to the SSW project, you all have provided 600 at the moment. Any targets for 2024? With the two new sectors adding, we will be passing the 1,000 mark?
We don't have a numerical target. We don't have numerical target, but now the number of Sri Lankans is still very small compared to countries like Indonesia or Vietnam. So it can expand two-folds or three-folds if there are people who have good skills and command of Japanese language.
Right, okay. You like to comment on the export ban on the vehicles?
By the
Sri Lankan government. So when the country's economy improves, we hope that things will improve, right?
Well, I understand because of the shortage of foreign currency, Sri Lanka is now restricting various imports. But I know that Japanese cars are very popular in Sri Lanka. So when the economy improves and Sri Lanka is able to import cars, we hope more Sri Lankan people can enjoy driving Japanese cars. Regarding to the Japanese language tests, there is a Japanese language proficiency test which has been there for a long time. But now we have a new test called JFT Basic, Japanese Fluency Test Basic. And this is a test more focused for working in Japan. And there's a text called Irodori with many useful audio materials. So this is, but still it's underutilized. So we encourage Japanese learners who want to go to Japan to work to study with this text, Irodori, and take the test of Japanese fluency.
The education opportunities for Sri Lankan students to come and study and
Yeah, it's open, and I think more and more undergraduate universities have courses in English. So that is an opportunity for Sri Lankan students to study.
So unlike other countries, you don't have to go to that country and spend some time learning the language. You can go straight from the English to the course. That's the advantage.
Yes.
There are some
It depends on universities, but there are such universities, and we encourage foreign students to study in Japanese universities.
So thank you very much. We are signing off from Daily News Sunday Observer and Lake House Digital Team. I'm Shirajeev Siriman. Thank you. Bye.